I came back home from NGU, and I ain't gonna lie, because all my family, they seen me sign and stuff like that. They like, oh, he about to go to the, trying to get to the NFL.
Yeah.
And like when I came back, I felt like I failed everybody.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things when I came home, I was embarrassed. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Every time I went to a family function, they like, so what you gonna do next? What's next? And I'm like, dang, I'm just out here working, thugging and
trying to figure it out. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Armand Lindsay, back again with another episode of Big Boss Talk, the podcast. Listen, this is a special guest right here, man. I've known bro since 2020. Man, listen, back in, I still trade. I don't know if he's still trading, but back in the day when we was doing a little bit of Forex, we putting some money in our pocket, making the digital dash. Bro was always solid. Bro always came, prepared. He was like one of the ones that was always just willing to learn. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that get into trading and they don't want to put the time in to learn the skill. But Mitch, man, he was one of the ones that always put the time in the trade. He was the one always dedicated, showing up, talking. So it was like, you know what I'm saying? I vibe with bro because he was trying to get it how I was trying to get it. And I'm so glad I was able to get him on the podcast, not for the trading specifics, but because during that time, he's always cut hair. But now, upcoming, he just opened up his own barbershop. You know what I mean? So I had to get somebody that was a real straight up boss on the show. You know what I'm saying? Young and turned. I'm not joking with y'all. So listen, man, Mitch, say what's up to the podcast, bro.
What's good, y'all, man? I'm happy to be here, man. Big shout out to Armand for even starting the podcast, giving just young black people a platform to talk on. But I appreciate you bringing me on, Brody.
Oh, no doubt, man. But listen, before we start, everybody know if you're a viewer, you just new to the podcast, listen, we always play two truths and a lie. Like, that's just kind of one of our icebreakers. And I'm really good at guessing these lies. So I hope Mitch came prepared with these three statements. So let me hear them.
All right. I driven a Hellcat before.
Okay.
I broke one bone before.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to Jamaica once.
Man, that boy took my example out the book. Okay, he said drove a Hellcat.
Hold on. I messed up. Hold on. I driven a Hellcat before.
Yeah.
I've broken a bone before.
Yeah.
And the last one, I've been in a penthouse before.
Got him. I got him, y'all. I already got him.
I
already know what the lie is. So he said, driven a Hellcat before. I believe that's true. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know, dude. And the only reason I'm saying that's true is because I don't know if you got one. I know Marv got a Hellcat, don't he?
I think Marv about to get one.
Okay, so Marv don't have a Hellcat. Got you. Yeah, Marv probably about to get one. Okay, cool. So drove a Hellcat, broken a bone, been to Jamaica once.
Penthouse.
My fault. Penthouse. So penthouse. Definitely think you done been in a penthouse. It's either between broken a bone or drove a Hellcat. Broken a bone, drove a Hellcat. I'm gonna say the broken bone is a lie. You probably never broken a bone. You seem like you got, you know what I'm saying, good luck like that, bro. Knock on wood that you keep it.
Right.
That you keep it. I'm gonna just say that's the lie.
All right, bet. So the lie was I never drove a Hellcat. I actually broke 5 bones before, bro.
Dang, God, dang. So you drove it. So you have driven a Hellcat.
You said what now?
I said you have drove a Hellcat.
I mean, the lie was the Hellcat. My bad. I had mixed it up. I never drove a Hellcat.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you never drove a Hellcat.
Nah, I never drove a Hellcat. I want to drive one this year. Like, that's my goal to, like, really, like, find somebody with a Hellcat. Be like, hey, bro, let me drive this up, man. I got to.
You gonna
I got to steal that power, man.
Listen, man, you gonna drive it, but you ain't gonna push that thing.
Shoot, I ain't gonna lie, on the floor.
He gonna hit the gas on it. Okay, bet. We appreciate that, man. So, obviously, broken 5 bones. What bones did you break? Was it all at once?
And I broke this arm 3 different times in 3 different years. I broke this arm, and then I broke my leg in middle school.
Bro, what's up? You drinking your milk?
Yeah. Yeah, bro. I don't know what it was. Like all of them was like real bad breaks, man. Like I'm talking about like bad breaks.
Like snap break or like
like
completely.
This arm was all the way deformed and everything. Like
nah.
My leg, man. It happened playing football. My foot got caught in the grass.
Yeah.
And somebody came a helmet and it just split it.
Oh my God.
Right across the
That's crazy. Okay. So listen, I'm gonna go through the details, right? So let everybody know. I got Mitchell Settles, all right, age 23, career/job is a professional barber, all right. College degree, he went to NGU 1 semester. I did not know you went to NGU, bro, because I graduated, I graduated from NGU, so I don't know when you pulled up. What year?
I had pulled up the year 2017.
I just graduated. Yeah.
I
had just
because I was playing ball in March that semester.
Okay, got you. So then years in profession, 2 years. So you've been cutting hair for 2 years?
So I would say, when I say 2 years, I've been cutting hair like consistently for 2 years, but I started actually cutting in high school.
Okay, bet. That makes sense. All right, bet. So cool, man. So before we, kind of jump into it, man, I always like to start from the beginning, man, and just kind of pick people's brain on like what they really wanted to be growing up. So like, did you always know you wanted to cut hair or be a barber, or like what was your game plan when you were young? You know what I'm saying? Like young, growing up, what did you want to be?
So like growing up, I never, barbering was like actually never in the question. Like my dreams was always like NFL, because I was like, that's all I knew. And I, growing up, you seeing it on TV, man. I had a family member to go to the league that I was real close to. So I was just like, bro, I got to go to the league. I didn't really think of anything else besides that. But honestly, the way I got into it, like I subconsciously didn't even realize it, but I used to draw haircuts back in 5th grade, like on a picture and stuff like that. So like I've been in the process, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I didn't know it for real. But yeah, growing up, I never saw myself cutting hair. It was always one of them things where it was like the NFL, or I was like, I might go to the military, because I was like, I don't know what else I want to do with my life.
Bro, that's so drastic, but that's like a common truth, bro. Like, and that's the thing, that the reason why I started a podcast is because a lot of people just don't know. Like when you grow up, especially like, and from South Carolina, right? You from South Carolina, and so it's a lot of people that went to the league, played in the NFL, still to this day, like going and playing ball from South Carolina. So when you see like, it only take a couple of friends to make it, you know what I mean? Like older guys that you see growing up, and y'all going to the same high school. So it's like, okay, they coming to recruit, you know what I'm saying? I'm working just as hard. Like there's opportunity that like that dream is up here, you know what I mean? And it's like the money that come with being in the NFL. It's like, bro, that's life changing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody situation, not everybody comes from, great situations. A lot of times some of the greatest NFL players come from the same situations that me and you might have been in, or others might have been in. You know what I'm saying? So that is a determinant. You see so many similarities in these guys, and it's like, okay, cool. If they could do it, like, and you visually see it, like, I got a chance. And you gonna grind yourself so hard trying to make that happen, which you should. But I also think that, because it was so many people coming from South Carolina, like, we didn't realize how really hard it was, or how much of a talent that person was, because you literally have to be in the top. You know what I'm saying? Like top 1%. You dominating every single level. So it's like, when did you come to the realization, like, all right, maybe I'm not gonna go to the league? But obviously you start subconsciously drawing haircuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, when did you realize that?
It was really my senior year of football. I had a great year, but it was one of those things where, like, it was the injuries for me, man. The injuries kept piling up, bro. I really was supposed to been done. I had 3 concussions. Dang. I was supposed to cut it off right there. And my senior year rolled around, and I told my mom, I said, look, if somebody offered me something, I'll go. But I said, honestly, I think I'm gonna just go to college and figure out, what I want to do for real. So I was gonna go to Coastal. I was just gonna go to Coastal, and you know what I'm saying, just be
party.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like it was around, man, it was late. I think it was around April of 2017. You know, everybody that been signing pretty much signing, and
Sure.
NGU had hit me up, and you know they had offered me, and I was like, you know what, I'm taking. You know what I'm saying? But I went there or whatever, and I was just like still like the injuries. Like I got another concussion while I was there, and I was like, you know what? I said I gotta cut it off, man.
Yeah. That's smart of you, bro. Cause I got a homie from back my way. He went to the Citadel. And
Yeah.
he was really good. Played safe. I think it was like safety, like the same position that Jalen Ramsey played, where you can play, you know, in the field and then come up to the line and blitz a little bit too. So, but he had like 3 concussions and he called it a quits. You know what I'm saying? He was boom, like laying thump, and I was like, hey man, you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Because at some point you gotta think about long term versus short term. Like in the short term, you know, we look at ourselves as warriors, as gladiators. When we go on that field, we trying to wreck something. You know what I'm saying? Wreck something. So, but that's not healthy. That's not a healthy way to think.
Right.
In football, it's like, okay, what is the aftermath, you know, 10, 15 years from now? So you always gotta be careful about that. So I just thought it's crazy that you said like your dream was just NFL, and then subconsciously you were going in a different direction, because things do happen for a reason. It always lines up the way it's supposed to line up, whether we realize it or not, whether we see it at that moment or not. But you was drawing the haircut that we see on the wall, like, hey bro, I want a number 5.
Yeah.
With the joint right here. Let me get the what's this? What is called a part at the top. So it's like you was drawing it, you know what I'm saying, early, and not even knowing that you was gonna be in the position that you are today. So just at that, I guess in that time frame where you were deciding, like, you know, what you were wanting to do, was there any type of emotions going on? Like, did you ever feel down on yourself, or did you just know, like, you were one of those guys that knew, like, all right, football is plan A, but I definitely knew I got to have a plan B?
It was, I ain't gonna lie, it was really one of those things. Like when I was in that deciding factor of what I wanted to do with life, I came back home from NGU, and I ain't gonna lie, because you know all my family, they seen me sign and stuff like that. They like, oh, he about to go to the, you know, trying to get to the NFL.
Yeah.
And like when I came back, I felt like I failed everybody.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was one of those things. When I came home, I was embarrassed. I didn't know what I wanted to do. You know, every time I went to a family function, they like, so what you gonna do next? What's next? And I'm like, dang, I'm just out here working, you know, thugging and trying
to figure it out.
You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, I'm going from job to job. At the time, you know, I was taping my boys up and stuff like that. Like I didn't really have no clientele or nothing. So, you know, I make an extra $40 to $50 during the week. And it wasn't until I moved from home and I stepped out on my own. 19 years old, I got an apartment. I'm in Greenville. I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of in the hood, so it was a little different.
What part of Greenville? Because I stayed there for 6 years. Where you was at?
Yeah, man. It was what's it called? Augusta Road.
I know.
Man.
Yeah. You better be careful.
Yeah,
be careful,
bro. I was going to Greenville Tech there, and that's when I found out like the school part. I said, all right, just school alone with no football, it wasn't for me. But I had started meeting some people there, and I started cutting more hair. And they was like, bro, you fine. But, you know, looking back, those cuts don't look nowhere as good as they do now. But, you know what I'm saying? You know, I could really do this barbering thing for real. And what happened, I was in Greenville, and I needed a haircut. And I saw this barbershop online, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to check it out. And when I walked in, I was like, bro, it gave me a feeling like I'm just stepping into luxury.
That's crazy.
And I was like, bro, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? That's when I told my mama. I said, look, after this lease up, I'm coming home. I'm going to barber school, and I'm going to take it serious. Right. And so, like, that's when I knew what I wanted for real. Like, that's when I knew, like, okay, this is how I want to lock in. But in the midst of that, you know, we all had got together in 2020. You know what I'm saying? Like that way, yeah. That's when I locked in on the dream, though.
Yeah, that's when we was trying to make those plays, man. So obviously, I mean, you hit on a lot of different things, and I don't want to, you know, go back too far. But you talked about feeling like a failure when you came back. Like, a lot of guys can relate, and to be honest, I don't think I ever felt like a failure, because I was like, okay, I completed my 4 years. You know what I mean? I was like, I did my 4 years. I started as a freshman. I went through my trials and tribulations. I got benched when I came back my freshman year. my roommates, all the people that I came in with, they were a majority of us started as freshmen, but I had my two main friends that I got, Mike and Blair. Those guys got redshirted, uh, and they came off their redshirt year, and they ended up starting all for the next 4 years. And I think it really helped. They were already good. They were studs, man. They were way better than me. You know what I mean? At the time, I was naive to say that or to believe that, just because I was always like, I work harder than everybody. Like that's what I'm gonna do to this day. Like I'm gonna work harder than everybody. Where my talent may not come, I got the work ethic. And so
Right.
I felt like, you know what I'm saying, as I got older, I started to realize, I was like, maybe I could have used a red shirt freshman year to develop with those guys and become just as good, or to become to start all 4 years. But I started as a freshman. I thought I did decent. Obviously, you got politics that come with football as well. So I came back, didn't start. I probably didn't play. Man, my sophomore year, I played a little bit, not too much. Only when people was like getting hurt and stuff like that. My junior year, I was getting a little bit more PT, like half and half, because the guy that was in front of me, he was a senior, dealt with a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
So I was playing a lot more. But the story of it is my senior year, I came back. I played every game. Our offensive line probably was the best offensive line we had our senior year, and we went the farthest we ever went.
Right.
In school history for the second time. So it only happened once, and then my senior year come and we do it again and get to the third round of playoffs. So I was like, that's my journey. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe that's my my life. And so, but I didn't feel how you felt, going back to your point about feeling a failure, because I did have the opportunity to go out with a bang. Even though I knew, I was like, I ain't, I'm not trying to go to the league, because not only I wasn't athletically gifted as a lot of those guys. But why do you think people put that pressure on themselves, when they commit to something like a sport, and then they figure out that it's not for them, and you go back you go back home and everybody's seeing you like, what you doing next? Like you couldn't figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Why do people put that pressure on them? Because obviously you was just figuring it out, bro. You was 18, 19, you know what I'm saying? Like you trying to figure out life, and maybe football just wasn't for you. But why you think family members and friends make you feel that way?
I feel like honestly, it depends. Sometimes it depends on the person. Like, your character, how you grew up, how you used to move in high school.
Right.
And I feel based on the way I used to move, I used to keep myself out of certain scenes and stuff. They looked at me like the golden child, and so like straight off the rip in high school, it was always like they putting that pressure on me. But it's like they not doing it in a mean way, but it's just like they always asking. And I just feel like, just depending on who you are, and no knock to anybody, but depending on who you are, like people will look at you a certain way and expect you to do certain things in life. And so it was one of those things where I put all of that weight on my shoulders, and you know what? I just got to do it. And I found myself doing it for them and not for me. Cause like, truth be told, I didn't even want to play football at the high school no more. Like but like my mama, I love my mama to death, but she was like, you got to go to college and you might as well play football. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to do this for them. Cause she want me to have a good career down the road. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, bet, I'm gonna do it. So it really even it wasn't for me for real. I ain't gonna cap.
Bro, I ain't gonna it's funny that you say that, because stepping away, being out of the game for a minute, I try to reflect. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Why, like, I'm more of a I'm creative. That's kind of me. I love football. I love the sport, the team sports. I love team sports. I love playing with a team. I love doing the workouts, the grinding, but the meticulous, the practices, I hate. Games, I love. And to be honest, I probably, if it wasn't for the environment that I grew up in, as far as like all the homies playing, and then, you know what I'm saying, just coming from, like my dad was like super good at, basketball back in the day and stuff like that. It was like all that. I probably wouldn't have played football either. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It was just the fact that that's what everybody was doing. Obviously, I dealt with issues with being a coming from a single parent home, and I'm dealing with things like I'm thinking like, well, my dad ain't really rocking with us like that, and I'm like, maybe if I play football, come to the games, you know what I'm saying? He's showing love, like he like that's my son. Even though I was doing everything for the wrong reasons, because he always to this day just says, man, I'm proud of you. I'm glad you didn't, you ended up better than me. Blase, blase. Like as I got older, I understood how I could respect my dad from even the situations back then. Like I understand, like being young as he was in the situation. Like I get it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's hard. I'm here now. Obviously, I'm still not gonna take the same way. I think it's always you could have always did better. So that's why I'm here. I can learn from those mistakes and be better. But to your point, you didn't even want to play ball, and I'm like, when I think about it, I'm like, I could have did without ball too. You know what I'm saying? I could have just been out here chilling. But I learned a lot. It gave me my morals. It gave me my discipline. It gave me my work ethic. I never take anything away from football. I think football is the ultimate team sport, and I learned so much, and I'm able to get through so many things in life. I think football sometimes does hinder. I don't know if you can relate, but you ever think about like you sometimes being part of a sport, you feel like, okay, I can go in, I'm gonna work hard, I can lift the weights, I can get stronger on my own. But in life situations, you may feel like you can do things on your own, but I think this is where, depending on, I don't know, faith, where your faith lies in. Like a lot of times it's by faith, not by sight. So when I can't see it, it's sometimes discouraging, and you almost feel like you can't do it. How do you like right now, like through situations, I'm pretty sure you had to go through so many different things with opening up the shop, getting everything going. You don't tell us about it yet, but I just want to know, like, how do you take yourself away from feeling like I can do this all, and then putting it in your faith, you know what I'm saying? Knowing that there's a higher power that can, that's got your back.
Yeah, so it's like, it's one of those things for me, like, that was, and I ain't gonna dive into the shop part yet, but it was one of those things where it was real hard for me at first to see any type of vision. I pray about it, try to do things to, help give me clarity, but you know what I'm saying? But it was real hard for me to see it, because it's like, you got so many different things going on around you in life that's pushing you away from that goal that you're trying to reach.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, like, when is it gonna pop? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it was in 2019. I'm like, 2022 then got here, and I'm like, bruh, it still ain't here.
Right.
It's been 3 years. Like, the main thing, depending on what people, believe in, wherever they source of power come from, like, I pray to the Most High, and I ask for clarity, for, visions, for strength. And it's just like, that's where I go to. And I'm like, I knew it was coming, but I just didn't know when. Like, I would have dreams about having a shop. Yeah. Like, literally, bro, I know it's coming. You feel me? So,
bro, nobody understands. I think a lot of people, like, there's a point. There's people that we know and that we go to school. Like, it's like, when somebody is gifted with a vision. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, when the person got major dreams, where, like, some of the stuff they say, you be like, okay, bro, chill. You know what I'm saying? But it be though, and I think it goes back to what you were saying, like being the golden child, where people see you and they feel like you can't do no wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. you're gonna always have it figured out. I sometimes feel like that. Like I would say, like, out of the people that I kind of grew up with, I feel like, people look at me as the golden child, but not understanding that I'm a product of my environment. I just don't sell the product. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm like that, but I choose not to be like that. You know what I mean? But then I think people get that confused. It's like you always battling between, like, I'm different, but I also want to show people that I'm not different from you. You know what I'm saying? We come from the same environment. If I can do it, you can do it. But then you also know that you can't keep doing the same thing that they're doing, and you got to come over here and be like, you got to go alone on your journey. Yeah. And I think, man, when you talked about just whatever the source people believe in their higher power, it's easy to sit up here and say, man, you got to pray. You got to, keep going. Like, bro, it's hard. Like, it'll be days where you feel like, man, bump this vision, bump praying. God, I keep praying and I ain't seen nothing yet. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, that's when the faith you gotta really conjure up that faith and really just know, get into a routine and be like, all right, I know it's coming, I just don't know when. And I think like just like yourself, you had this vision in your brain. Like it was hard for you to see it at first, but then when you see it, it can't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? No matter the downs, the ups, like the vision gonna always be there. And even when you down, it drives you so crazy because you can't erase it. Like even if you wanted to forget it, like I'm gonna do something
Yep.
else, you can't even let it go. So what's
Yep.
what's some of the best advice someone has ever given you, bro?
Some of the best advice. Matter of fact, this came from Marv, honestly. And this I ain't gonna lie. Like I talk to Marv, me and Marv talk every couple of weeks or something like that. But it was consistency, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what changed the game for me this past year and a half. Consistency. I never, like when I look back, I realized that I was never actually like consistent at something that I wanted to do personally. You know, not something doing for just money, but something that I wanted to do in life. And so from November of 2021 all the way down to the end of 2022, this past year, man, when I say like I was so consistent every single week, every Saturday, Friday, Saturday, I'm cutting hair.
Yeah.
And so what that did was like, yeah, it was still a process, but that consistency, it gave me the clientele, it gave me the cash flow to be able to, you know, pour into the business and stuff like that.
Right.
And I tell you, like, if you want something, it's gonna take more than just dreaming about it.
Yeah.
It's gonna take more talking about it. You gotta put in that work, and like literally, when I say you gotta put in them hours, man, if you don't put in the hours, it's not gonna happen. And I feel like that's why I was being delayed so many years. I was like, man, I want to shop, but I'm cutting 3 hairs a week.
Yeah.
I ain't. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I tell anybody, just be consistent. That's the best advice I probably ever got, because it'll get you somewhere.
Bro, that you ain't never lied, bro. I will say, like, this past year was like, I started the podcast in 2019. Obviously, I always knew, like, I guess my whole thing, I think I always had a dream of being able to be in a room and people gravitate to the words that's coming out of my mouth. Like I used to go to functions, almost like kind of like Forex, right? You'll be around those guys and you'll hear them talk, and you gravitate to their words because you know obviously they put in the time, they got the results, they live in how you think you want to live. And so it's like I'm listening. I want all the gems, all the information. You know what I'm saying? Because I know if I take all that in, I could be there. And I used to, and not even just for Forex. I used to multi-level marketing, same thing. Those guys have it all, and they working on your, I guess you could say, your armor. Like you got to have armor when you go into entrepreneurship, because if you don't, you can get tore down very quickly, because people, if you're not seeing the goals you want to hit, seeing the revenue you want to hit, like you could be deterred from your goal. But the consistency part, I did that, 2022, that whole year, I was like, look, I'm going to put out 2 episodes a week. I'm sitting down with any and everybody.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? I grew that Instagram platform. We grew it from, we was probably like the 200s. Now we at, hitting 1K. You know what I'm saying? It's not, it's a lot of growth. It may not seem like a lot to other people because other people have 5,000, 10,000 followers. But to me, I'm like, that's something. You know what I'm saying? If I can compile that together and it just get the train rolling, to your point, the consistency is there. And I think my consistency looks a little different than yours, right? With barbershop, I'm in the shop. You know what I'm saying? Now you got a shop, so it's like this Monday, this 7 days a week. You know what I mean? And so with me, it's like I need to be sitting down with people, finding new careers that are out there, sitting down with people. Also, I want to get into schools. I'm still struggling on how I can get into a school because I'm out here in Houston, and a lot of people don't know me. So it's like if I was back home, it'd be a little bit easier because I grew up in that school system. But it's just like, how can I get into school? So consistency is key for everybody that's listening. Mitch just dropped a huge gem, because without consistency, you won't be able to build up those 10,000 hours. You won't be able to put that skin in the game. Like you gotta have some skin in the game to achieve those goals. So appreciate that, Mitch. Now what I want to do is I want to move forward. Right, we got we cutting hair. We being consistent. We cutting, Saturdays, Sundays. We in the shop. you walked into that store and you say you saw luxury. That's how I wanted to see it. What did you see in that shop that made you be like, oh, I can do this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was it that got your attention? And then when you got the vision, what was the plan on how you wanted to make it come to fruition?
Okay, so basically, when I walked into the shop, the first thing I noticed, and like I got my shop now, and I love the way it looks, but I'm still dreaming bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
For sure. But so when I walked in, man, I saw the marble floors. It had a nice aroma to it.
Ooh.
You know, the nice, everybody clean, professional. And I was like, man, I said, I've never seen nothing like this in my life. Like, especially in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. All the barbershops is just a shop with a couple chairs. Got the TVs going, the nice music. And so, man, I sat in the chair. And when I finally sat in the chair, it was appointment based only. I didn't know, but the guy took me in anyway. And I sat in the chair. And so, you know, I'm sitting back. He took me to go get a hair wash first, you know, all the luxury services. And I was like, man, I love the way it made me feel. Like I felt good. I was clean coming out the chair. And I was like, you know what? I said, bro, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy cutting the head, you know what I'm saying? Seeing somebody smile at the end of it, you know what I'm saying? Because they know, oh, I'm land this job now. I'm about to, you know, talk to this girl now. You know, I look good. But it was one of those things where it's like, when I saw somebody else doing it, I was like, bro, I can do that same thing for real. Like, I just got to do it. And so the game plan that I had to even start the execution on it was, this is before I didn't even know what manifesting was at the time. But something was burning in my soul. Was like, hey, bro, write it down, bro. It's back in January, and I still got the sketchbook to this day. And I wrote down everything that I wanted to do in the next like 5 years. Mm-hmm. And one of them was own a barbershop, become a licensed professional barber. And like I went back and I looked at it before, you know, the clock went off on 2023, and I was like, damn, I did that shit, bro. Like I did that shit, bro. And that was my whole game plan from the jump. Like, man, write it down, believe in it, and I would look back at it, you know, once a year. And like I was like, I ain't got there yet. I got to keep going. But yeah, man, that was the game. That's how I started it.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, you cutting hair at this time. Was people just pulling up at your crib? Were you in you was in somebody else's shop? Maybe just owning like a little booth paying rent at the time. Like, how was you cutting before you got your shop?
Man, so I ain't gonna lie. Like anybody around here will tell you, bro, I cut any and everywhere. I'm talking about from my living room to my bedroom to their bedroom to outside under a tent. Like, bro, I was really thugging it for real, man. Like, I'm talking about it's raining outside. I'm out there with a tent, you know what I'm saying, cutting hair. Yeah.
That's hard.
Real
okay. Tough. So obviously you was just trying to, you know, you was just cutting anybody anywhere. And so anybody anywhere. So so we doing that, and then now we got this beautiful shop. What was the process like getting a shop? Like, you know, what's some games? What are some things that you would tell people not to do? What are some things you would tell people to do when trying to get a building and to you know, purchase a shop?
I would say first, you know, try to the most important thing, depending on what type of barber you're trying to be. Like for me and in my sense, you know, I'm trying to grab the community, especially the youth. Like I don't want to just be a barber. I want to be able to speak to the kids and stuff and, you know, give them some insight on life. So location, I say, is the most important thing, depending on what you're trying to do. Yeah. And so my shop, I told my mom, I was like, man, I really don't know where I want to put it. And then this building right on the right up front downtown. I mean, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
It's
this in Greenville? This in Greenville.
No, I'm in Johnston.
Okay, Johnston. Okay, got you. Okay, bet.
Like the most popular restaurant is literally adjacent to my building, so it's like where I'm at, you have no choice but to see it. You know what I'm saying? You have no choice. So location is probably the most important thing. Of course, when it comes to like, you know, what you might be paying for a lease, or if you buying to own the building, you know what I'm saying? That's important too. But I tell anybody, location, because that's what's going to spark your business. Right. That's what's going to give you the walk-in flow when you don't have appointments set up. Because I have 2-3 appointments on a Tuesday. which is normal. You know, most people not getting a bunch of cuts on Tuesday, but I might have 4 or 5 walk-ins. Right. You know what I'm saying? And just based on my location for real. So I say the most important thing when getting a shop is location. After that, you know, of course you got to go in and you got to, you know, inspect it and stuff like that. Yeah. You know, make sure good. But yeah, location is the biggest thing.
Did you have help with like inspecting, making sure the building was up to code, or like is that something that you had to pay for, as far as like, because you know some people know people in the family like, hey, can you help me out? I'm trying to get this building. Can you look it up? But is that something you had to pay for, or did you just have a family friend kind of help you out?
So luckily, I was blessed to have a lot of family around here that know just about everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So like electrical work, you know, I had a family member help me out with that. As far as like painting and stuff, I did pay somebody to like paint and do some carpentry and stuff like that. But for the most part of looking at it, you know, I had family members to come out and help out with that.
That's dope. So obviously going back home helped a lot because it pulled in a lot of resources. Everybody know Mitch, you know what I'm saying, in the city. So it's like right beside the popular restaurant, you got the barbershop. You can come and grab a cut. And I think the purpose behind why you cut hair, right? You know, some people, I mean, I don't know. It probably it started like this, like just making a few extra dollars. But now that you like, all right, I'm growing this clientele. I'm seeing people every day. It's like now you can put your purpose behind it. You can put the battery in the back and say, all right, I'm trying to touch the youth. You know what I'm saying? And when they come into the shop, be able to speak to them on some Big Brother type stuff. You know what I'm saying? We ain't preaching to them, but it's like hey, watch out for this. You know what I'm saying? Be careful about that. You know what I'm saying? If you need something, just come holler at me. You know what I'm saying? Barbershop got you. You know, all these single parent moms bring it. You know, I'm pretty sure you see single parent moms, you see dads bringing their kids in the shop, and you know, sometimes they just need to come in the barbershop and just talk about other things and get their mind off what's going on outside the door. And then when you leave the barbershop, you get that feeling of like, oh, I'm in the game. You know, ain't no better feeling than going to the barbershop ugly and then coming back looking like Stephon. You know what I mean? You go in looking like Urkel, then you come out like Stephon. You be like, oh, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's important to the community. Like, you play an important role in the Black men and women that got low cut community. Now with the barbershop, you know, is it just you cutting in there? Or are you opening it up to different other people coming in to cut? Like, what's your vision behind how you see your barbershop looking when you see like what I guess with the services that you're gonna offer inside?
Right. So basically how I have it set up right now, for the first 3 months, I wanted to go completely solo. Okay. That way get a feel of the shop and, you know, everything like that, and I can get it flowing the way I want to. But I do have another booth set up right beside mine, open to somebody. But the thing about it is like what I'm bringing to the table is it's gonna be real hard for me to just throw anybody in there, because I'm on this vision of where like when you come in here, not only you gonna get an experience with a haircut, but we're gonna have some dope conversation. Yeah. You know, we're gonna talk about something. You know, we're gonna talk about some real life stuff too. You know, depending on the person. Right. And like I tell anybody, I know it's a little off topic, but getting into barbering is more than just cutting hair. You can just be a barber, but in all reality, especially depending on the community you in, you're gonna be somebody's therapist. You're gonna be over here about their problems, and you gotta be mentally ready for that, because it's gonna be a day where I come in here and I'm not filling up the par, but John need to talk about, you know, his baby mama, you feel me? You know, so it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, when you come in a barbershop, man, being a barber, your day, it seems repetitive, but it's really not, because you don't know who coming through that door. Right. And you don't know what mindset gonna be on. And so like, I find myself spitting gems almost every day, you feel me? So it's like, yeah, being a barber, man, you really a therapist for real. Yeah, for real.
No cap, man. Boy, it's crazy, man. This hair, like, this how important a barbershop is in the community. Like, you just, like, I remember talks in the barbershop, being younger, being dropped off at the barbershop, you know, as a young kid. Like, your mom got to go do something, so you in there thugging it, trying to hold your you learn life lessons in the barbershop. This is what you learn, like, don't let no man cut in front of you. Like, hey, bro, I was next. You feel me? Yep. I'm 10 years old. I don't care. I was next, man. My mama outside waiting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you learn lessons like that. You learn, you know, and then you can also learn conversations, constructive conversations, as far as like telling your barber what you like. You know, obviously I know, you know, barbers, y'all know how to cut hair, but at the same time, you messing with people's looks. So obviously they'll, you know, if you have not an issue, but if you like want something done different, like, hey man, I want instead of my beard high, I just want to drop down. Can you know what I'm saying? That's where you learn how to communicate those things and get the courage to be able to talk to another man and look another man in his eye and say, hey, I didn't really like that. Can I bring it down some? You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like it doesn't have to be negative, but you learn, but you learn skills like that at a young age going into the barbershop, which is super dope. So I do want to ask, as far as like we know, we kind of know, you know, where the vision is going and things of that nature. But where do you see yourself, you know, 10 years from now, with the barbershop? What do you see yourself doing 10 years from now?
So 10 years from now, and it's crazy because I actually got this wrote out. Like I got it wrote out.
Yeah.
So 10 years from now, I see this shop is still gonna be here. It's gonna be up and running, but I won't put in this shop anymore. I see I'm extended, so I'm gonna have about 4 booths in here, and it's gonna be running itself. Okay. That's my dream. You know, of course, I'll come back sometimes, but this is gonna be running itself. I also have a vision of having 2 luxury barbershops, one in Charlotte, one in Atlanta. And the reason I want to have them in those locations, man, that's where all the famous people at, man. It's prime, man. You got
that's prime, the NBA. Prime Black Hollywood right there.
Yeah. And so I'm like, bro, I see myself having 2 luxury barbershops running in those 2 cities. Not only that, of course, you know, I'm on some entrepreneur stuff, and it's like, you know, that investment portfolio, man, I'm like, bro, it got to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be in the next 10 years. I want everything, like, far as business wise, to be almost automated. Like, it's running for me, and I'm doing whatever I do. Like, I see myself going to places and speaking and talking about where I came from, you know what I'm saying, where I'm at now, and, you know, just really living life, but not just like sitting at the house chilling. Like, I want to share my story for real.
Yeah, that's dang, that's crazy. We got some of the same dreams, man, because I look at myself doing the same thing, bro, and I know 10 years from now you're gonna be doing what you said you was gonna do, man. We're gonna look back at this footage and you're gonna be like, man, I said that. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be like 2033. I said that. You know what I'm saying? That's weird to say, 2033. But you know what I'm saying? I believe it, bro. I you know, obviously I believe in what you got going on. I believe in you, bro. You know, even though we may not talk all the time, but I definitely see you on the gram, and you know, I'm just rooting from you from afar. You know what I mean? We've been in the grind together. We've been in the gutter together. We done built something from zero and made it something. So, you know, we understand what it's like, and we got some skin in the game with each other. So I don't want nothing. I just want to see you succeed, bro, in whatever you got going on. So I appreciate you for hopping on, but I gotta ask this for all the brothers out there.
Yeah.
How much you charging for a haircut?
How much I'm charging?
Yeah.
Right now in Johnston, now keep in mind, this is a community where everybody used to, like, back in the day, 15 at tops, you know, it just moved up to 20.
Yeah.
Some years ago, I'm at $30 for a haircut. And the reason I set my bar at $30, number one, I was being overworked because I was lowballing it at 20 under everybody else. So I said, all right, I got to at least match everybody else, because on the outside of Johnston, everybody charged 40. Right. So I was like, okay, I'm going to charge $30 a head. Now, keep in mind, I cut basically all day, especially on the weekend. So I'm charging $30 for a head, but I'm like, bro, like, when I look at some of the work that I do give, I'm like, bro, I really could be charging more, but I was like, you know, I'm doing a service for my community. And I'm like, you know, when I get to Charlotte or Atlanta or whatever, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna have more things, I'll be able to charge more. But what I'm doing right now, I'm keeping it at 30 because I want my people in this area to get that quality experience. Like, they not used to laying back in the chair, getting the straight razor done, somebody cleaning your face. They're not used to that. So, like, they're like, damn, I'm getting this for $30. It don't seem bad. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so, like, also got a premium service that I have for $40. I'm about to add some stuff to it with the hot towel treatment, steamer, and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm charging 30 a head. As far as like anybody new in the game, I meant to say this earlier, but anybody new in the barber game, if you don't have clientele, right, you can't charge anything like off the rip. Like if you go into people's houses, be like, hey, just throw me something.
Yeah.
Because what you do is you gotta put out that work, but you're not gonna be able to put it out charging a high price off rip. I started cutting out niggas' heads for free. After it was free, it was $5. Then it went to 10, 15, 20. And from 20, I jumped up to 30 and 40 for my premium service. But it's like, it comes with time. Like that was, 2017 when I started cutting for real. It's 2022 and I just got the $30. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's one of those things you got to put yourself in the game. Kind of like a tattoo artist. Like, tattoo artists can't charge hella off the rip. You know, they got to build that status.
Portfolio out there. You know what I'm saying? And you got your tester, so you know when you cutting hair, those are walking billboards. Like, hey, who you got your cut? You know what I'm saying? It's like putting tests. The only reason I ask is because when the barber game, the inflation is crazy. Cause I'm out here in Houston, 60. So when you said 30, listen. I came from, bro. I remember growing up, my haircut was $10. You know what I mean? Even when I was in college, it might have been 15. You know what I'm saying? After school, it might have been like 20. But I done came over here, and I'm like, yo, when I first got to Austin, it was 30, I think, 30 or 35. I was like, that's expensive. And that was 30, 35. You know what I mean? But the service I was getting, I was like, okay, I'm getting a razor. You know, that she lining me up, everything, getting me right. Then I come over here to Houston, and the barber I go to now, he was 50. Then he jumped up 10 to 60. I say, man, this is getting ridiculous, man. Like, haircut's about to be $100, man. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if I have a son, I'm cutting his hair, and I'm saving the money to go to the barbershop myself. You know what I mean? Man. And then I was so pissed because my brother cut hair. I come back home, he charged 15, 20, everybody else. He say, hey, big bro, that's gonna be 40. I said, 40? He talking about, yeah, you already paying 60, so I gotta get you with 40. I say, I ain't coming back to you no more, man. Look, bro, hit me over the head. I said, man, these prices getting insane. Okay, do you see haircuts getting to $100 or like, well, what you saying?
I'm gonna be honest, because I'm in the barber community a lot, especially on YouTube and, you know, looking at IG pages. And the way it's looking, man, I see a lot of guys charging $80. I see guys right now charging $100, some $200. And I'm like, why charging this much for a haircut? And when I say it's a haircut, it's a haircut. You know, you got some that go to the extreme, but some of them just a haircut charging $150 for a haircut. And I'm like, I'm looking at how they scaling this business like that. So a lot of them, they taking certain clientele, like I guess like the tier of the person that they cutting, you know, they charge an X amount. I feel like a lot of guys, and this is just my personal opinion, I could be wrong, but I feel like a lot of guys are not creating multiple streams of income. And the only way they know to increase that income is go up on their cut prices, and that's it. Okay. And I'm like, bro, it's only so long you're going to be able to do that before that clientele starts to
Because it's gonna somebody gonna come in and lowball. Like somebody gonna be like, bro, I don't feel like I should charge you 150. Bro, come in and I can cut you for 50. You know what I mean? Like they might drop it a whole 100 and be just as good as you. So I'm like, eventually that could happen. You know what I'm saying? Especially if somebody just trying to get in the game.
Exactly. Because that's kind of what happened around here. Like everybody had went up to 30 and I ain't have no shop. So I'm hitting everybody with 20. I'm cutting 17, 18 heads on a Friday. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then Saturday, turn around, cut about 15 more. So it's like,
oh, you eating?
I was hustling. But I was like, with the 20, I was overworked. So I was like, I had to go to 30. And I'm going to keep it at 30. Like, I don't plan on moving my price point none while I'm living here. Because I'm like, okay, this 30, I can do this. I can manage this. You know what I'm saying? It's enough flow for me. And it's like I said, like, I'm creating more than one stream of income. So I'm not looking at barbering like, I got to keep going up on my price so I can make more money.
Right.
Or I can stay in the shop more hours to make more money. It's like, I'm going to take what I make here and, you know, take a percentage and invest somewhere else so I can, you know, increase my income that way instead of hitting all my clients over the head every year. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna lie, dog. I'm gonna become a barber. If it start getting to $100, I'm cutting my own hair. I can tell you that right now. I ain't never been scared to learn how to do something, so I will start trimming my junk up. That's crazy, but nah, I think it's definitely a space. I think it depends on the market for sure. Like if you go to Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, you could easily go up there 60. You know what I'm saying, charge 60, and because that's just the market. That's how it's set up there. And guys, I think black people they just feel like if they playing top dollar, they getting top dollar. Like everybody want to feel like,
Yep.
I got it. You know what I mean? I got it. So it ain't nothing, bro. I'm gonna slide you this 100 for the cut. It don't matter. But to me, I still value the dollar the same way I did when I was 15, 16. So like it just people look at money differently, and I think there's always gonna be clientele for those $150 haircuts just as well as gonna be clientele for the 60 and for the 30. So you just gotta find where you fit in and just ride that wave. For sure. So if you ever come to Houston, just know the market is already set high, 60. So just, you know what I'm saying? Just know you ain't getting nothing lower than 60 coming up here. And you're gonna be straight. So appreciate it, man. Just my last question before we go is just for people that want to be a barber, right? And people that say that they're, some people look at barbering as like, is it really money in barbering? And I would say I think barbers will never you never go out of business. You know what I'm saying? You never go out of business. So it's like let's just say on a Saturday, what do you feel like you bring in on a Saturday? Not to get too personal, but just on a Saturday.
Jerry, show me the money! Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money!
On a Saturday, like on a minimum.
Yeah, just a minimum.
Like a minimum $300 on a minimum, and that's being in here for maybe 5-6 hours tops, maybe. So it's like if I ain't got a jump in Saturday, I know I'm gonna make $300 at the very minimum. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I tell people if you trying to get in that barber space for real and you really want to get your craft right, do it, because you're gonna always be able to keep $1 in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people. It's some people right now. They rich. You know what I'm saying? $300 in 6 hours is nothing. We know that because we trade in the market.
300 in 10 minutes.
Yeah, but then you got somebody else, because like I used to work at Walmart. You got somebody that's working at Walmart,
right?
And hour shift, I ain't make but like $70.
Right.
You feel me? And so it's like if you skill with your hands and you got a passion for cutting hair, like really hone into it and don't forget to keep learning. Like you have to keep learning. Like even though I can cut pretty good now, every other day I'm watching something new to upgrade my craft, because it's like I can't be complacent. If I be complacent, I'm not gonna elevate. So like I said, like on a weekend minimum, probably 300, man. And I'm like, bro, that's really good for especially somebody young.
Yeah.
You trying to get your stuff together. It's like
to get you some clothes every now and again. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You rock with Vic Blends?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I like watching his stuff. He got my little brother in a chokehold. He really like what he be doing with the videos and having those conversations. Like it seemed like you on the same type of time as far as like what you trying to do to impact the world. So that's dope. But Mitch, man, we need 2 recommendations, man. 2 people or one, it doesn't matter. Somebody that could get on the podcast and really give game, man. It doesn't have to be anybody I know, but just 2 people, anybody that you could recommend. All I ask is that you send me their Instagram, and then I can reach out to them and ask them, do you have anybody that comes to mind, or do you got to think on it?
And I got one guy that come to mind. He's actually a young barber in North Augusta. He younger than me. He been in the shop.
Oh, like, word?
Listen, he be on his Vic Blend stuff, like Ruby in New York sometimes. Like,
yeah.
Like he was in the Forex industry too. He was, with multi-level marketing and stuff like that. So like, I'm not gonna lie, he speaks a lot, man. He'll be a great person to come on here. I'm gonna reach out to him.
Okay.
Him, and I'm trying to think. I'll probably get back with you with another person, but I know my guy real man, he'll be a good addition to the show. I ain't gonna lie. For
That'll
real.
be dope. All right, well, listen, just if you could just either way, however you want to do it. If you want to send me their Instagram or their contact information, if you want to reach out to him first and just be like, hey, I was on this podcast. I know what he got going on. He ain't on no bull. Just let him know.
Yeah.
And I can reach out to him and then we can get it cracking and get it popping. But just keep me in the loop on that information. But other than that, bro, it was great, man. I hope you had fun.
Oh yeah.
It was good talking to you, bro. Really getting deep dive into your dreams and what you got going on. Like I said, bro, 5-10 years from now, you're gonna be doing exactly what you said you was gonna do. I'm rooting for you. If I ever stop in Johnson, I don't know if I ever will, but if I ever stop, you know I'm coming by the shop and I gotta get a cut. I gotta get a cut, man. So I appreciate you, bro, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, man.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate you letting me get on, bro. I'm gonna holler at you, dog.
Anytime, bro. See ya.